Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. Hopefully, you had a nice weekend. We are rolling into a new week, meaning we are just about a little more than a month out from the 2024 presidential election between Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump. We also have, and there goes our camera. Our camera's giving us some difficulties, folks, so we might do without just for today. Not sure what is going on. We'll try to fix it throughout, but I have been dealing with this all weekend, so we will see what we can do or do without. But there's not much we can do here in terms of what the heck is going on with our camera. So if it goes out, then it goes out. If it comes back on like we have here, we'll try to fix it for all of you, but I don't know, folks. This thing has been giving me some massive issues. So like I said, most likely it's going to go out on us, but we'll try to keep turning it back on. But you saw it happen last week, and that's why we're a little bit late here. Not sure how to fix it, but the show must go on. So folks, if the camera goes out, then I'm going to just turn off my video like this, and we'll just do full audio for the day and maybe just do a little bit of a shorter show. But yeah, the camera, yeah, I see you guys in the chat. Yeah, the camera, I don't know what's going on. I spent probably 6 hours easily over the weekend trying to fix the camera. No clue. So let's jump right in the news where we have Hezbollah terrorist leader Hassan dead following Israeli airstrike. So just another confirmation of the Iranians being blown up, specifically the terrorist organization, not the Iranians. I want to be clear here because there's a distinction. Nobody wants to go after the Iranians. Only terrorists. I can only be so clear because there's people that come in the chat or the comment section, and there it goes again. The comment section and just keep complaining about, oh, well, you can't be going after people. Civilians are dying. Yes, that's the terrible thing of this whole spiel is you have countries that like terrorists and that they're just sitting there allowing them to be there. And thus you would have this take place of civilians dying because they're sitting there using civilians as human shields. It's terrible. I wish there was peace in the Middle East. That's why I want Donald Trump partially to be the next president of the United States, so we don't have all this. So we don't have people dying. Hezbollah fired more than 8,000 missiles, rockets, and drones at Israel since Hamas' October 7th terrorist attack displaces tens of thousands of civilians in northern Israel who were forced to evacuate their homes and have not been allowed to return. Folks, if you see the camera off, I sincerely apologize. There is nothing we could do about it. The camera is not working. I don't know what to do. Well, indiscriminately murdered this guy that was blowed up, murdered Israeli civilians and aimed to end this war with the destruction of the state of Israel. We made sure that did not occur. He continued. We eliminated him and we continue to grow stronger. Hezbollah was murdered or has murdered innocent people worldwide, hiding his weapons under the homes of families, women, and children and turning them into human shields. That's exactly what I just said and just confirmed. I don't even know why I'm switching over my camera. There is no camera. It's just a habit. Sorry, folks. Yeah, again, folks, it's good to see you on this fine Monday morning. Not sure what's going on with the camera. Again, I'm going to keep repeating that because we have a lot of people joining us. We might as well just keep going through the news then. Iranian-backed terrorists fired dozens of missiles, drones at U.S. Navy. Folks, that's considered an act of war, by the way. Time for a new camera. Yeah, I can't afford it, though. Fired dozens of missile drones at U.S. Navy. This is unbelievable. So I'm going to keep my composure. Iranian-backed Houthi terrorists in Yemen fired dozens of missiles and drones at U.S. Navy ships this week. I didn't hear about this. Did any of you all fine patriots hear about any of this? Typical that the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it. After Israel killed the Hezbollah leader. Check this out. 3 U.S. Navy ships shot down nearly 24 incoming missiles. Oh my God. And drones launched by Iran's rebel army. But good thing we're still giving the Iranians $10 billion of humanitarian aid. Oh, goody. Good thing Barack Obama gave them over $1 billion cash. Oh, good thing that Joe Biden's allowing them to continue their nuclear arsenal. Oh, goody. Glad we're really making a difference over there. No U.S. ships were hit yet. No sailors were hurt yet. And it appears as though all the projectiles that were fired were either shot down or missed. So what would have happened if they would have hit one of our vessels? That's my question. Like, what would have happened then? You know what I mean? Would we have done anything different? Would we have shot them? Would we have sent the brigade in? Would we have been launching missiles like Israel's been doing to Iran? Specifically the terrorists. I want to be clear, the terrorists in Iran? No. Because remember, they sat there and were harassing us and our merchant vessels for hundreds of times before we ever did anything. So here we are again with Joe Biden in office, not doing a damn thing to sit there and fix the issue. And so, well, here we are once again. Here we are once again, dealing with the shenanigans. Now, Joe Biden's response, if you recall last time, was just blowing up some piece of dirt that nobody used at all. So that is what that is. Jennifer caught me off guard. I don't want to watch it. Can't see your handsome face. I appreciate that. No, you don't want to see my mug. We got a face for radio here. But again, I apologize, folks, about the camera. I kind of expected it not to work based on how yesterday was going. But I see y'all in the chat. Going to be more than happy that you guys are sticking around, even though we have no digital. So it's just all audio today, which is kind of fun because I can just do whatever I want. I can make faces at you guys, and you have no idea. Lucas Tomlinson says 3 U.S. Navy warships shot down nearly 24 incoming missiles and drones launched by Iran's rebel army in Yemen earlier today while transitioning the narrow entrance. So why don't we just sit there and fire some missiles back? You know what I mean? Like, we could clearly see from our satellite imagery where they're shooting this stuff from. Why are we being such pussies? Why can't we just sit there and, fire a few rockets, use it as a training mission and blow some stuff up? I'm not even saying kill any people, just, have some target practice. Well, speaking of Iran, we also have the Ayatollah Khamenei in hiding with extra security following Hezbollah leader's death. These people are scared. Oh, they're scared. They're in their boots. They're scared in their boots. Iran's supreme leader has moved into hiding and remains at a secure location within the country. The decision came across and in response to Israel's strikes outside Beirut that killed the leader and founding member of the Iran-backed terrorist group. Well, I mean, if he has no connection to Hezbollah, a terrorist organization, why hide? You know what I mean? What are you going into hiding for, buddy? What do you care? That's no connection to you, right? You're not funding this terrorism stuff. So what's the big deal? Right? You have no connection to Hezbollah. Why should you be scared? It's because he does. It's because he does. 2 sources also told Reuters that Iran reached out to Hezbollah and other proxy forces in the region to determine what action to take in response. Oh, there we go. Now, see how it pieces together? You just got to go down a few sentences. Yeah, Iran reached out to the terrorist group. So I'm just going to replace some words here. I'm not going to be like the mainstream media and make it just seem like Hezbollah is just Hezbollah. No. Iran, the leading sponsor of terror, reached out to one of their terrorist groups and their proxies to figure out, hey, what should we do to do this? Interesting how the Iranians are in bed. But no, again, I'm going to repeat this many times. Let's keep giving them $10 billion of our tax dollars. Yeah. All the while, people are on fentanyl on our streets, massive invasion of the southern border, crime going through the roof, can't hire more police officers because we don't have the money for it, all this stuff. In a statement, the Khamenei said the fate of this region will be determined by the forces of resistance with Hezbollah at the forefront. Oh, lovely. Oh, by putting terrorists first. Oh, goody, goody. Oh, that's just lovely. Oh, there he is. Oh, that's just lovely. Now, again, just my hands raised for, I know you can't see me, guys. Just a quick question here. Where's all the Iranian civilians that are protesting Hezbollah? Just, like, where's all the people taken to the streets like we see in other countries when their freedom of speech is being taken away? Like, where are all these people going, hey, like, we're not for Hezbollah doing this? Have you guys ever, you don't see that anywhere else, right? I don't see it. It's astonishing how there's all these countries that harbor these terrorist organizations, never see people going out in the streets protesting because innocent civilians are dying because they decided to sit there, or their government decided to sit there and, have these terrorists run roughshod over the country. It's weird. It's really weird. Now, maybe they don't want to do it because they don't want to be killed. You know what I mean? Like they feel like they're life. It's like going down to Mexico and protesting against the cartel. You're probably not going to wake up tomorrow morning. So I get it. But then don't be pissed off when we sit there and blow up some buildings and, there's casualties left and right, which is terrible. Again, I'm going to continue to say it's terrible. It can be terrible and true at the same time. Israel's killed several other top Hezbollah commanders. I mean, they are all shaking in their boots right now because you can't even go in bunkers. Did you all see that massive hole where they killed that other dude just the other day, the Secretary General? Yo, it was just dirt. I saw the hole. I'll see if I can find it later. The hole just kept going down. They hit it with like 80 tons of like bunker busters or whatever they call them. I love that. Hello, and I hope you're all enjoying your morning coffee. Thanks, Shib. Again, folks, I'm well aware that the camera's not working, and we're just going full radio today. Jennifer, thank you so much. Happy Monday. Are you giving us the bird, Brad? I would never do so. Or am I? I'm kidding. No. Thank you, Jennifer, for the $1.99. That's greatly appreciated. Hey, maybe we should start a new camera fund. Oh, God. That's partially a joke. Yeah, there's nothing. We'll see. I hand to God, you guys, I really do mean that. I worked on it all weekend. Saturday and Sunday, it was giving me issues. I actually unplugged it, took everything down, tried to put it back together. I don't know what's happening right now with the camera. So sometimes it will work. Sometimes it won't. Got to roll with the punches. We also have here, speaking of Israel and Iran, we can get these advertisements off my screen. We got Israel killed Hezbollah leader. There you go. This is what I was talking about. I knew I had it somewhere. I was like, man, I remember seeing like a picture of the hole. 80 tons of bunker busters. So it was called that. It's not bad for seeing this headline one time. After spies spent years penetrating his entire network. You guys, you're going to love this article, okay? Because this is some... You thought the pagers and walkie-talkies was crazy? No. Check this out right here. Oh my gosh, this is wild. So the devastating airstrike that killed the Hezbollah leader was a result, check this out, of years-long operation by Israeli intelligence that penetrated the terror leader's entire network, allowing him to be tracked. Now you might be going, well, how are they tracking this guy underground? Well, let's answer it for you. There was 80 tons of specially designed bunker-busting bombs. There's a tongue twister for you. To blast through the heavily fortified hideout on Friday and kill the slippery individual. Like, he's slippery. It's like Donald Trump wrote this, right? He was a dog. He cried like a dog. He's slippery, like slimy, like P. Diddy with freaking baby oil. Who had survived multiple previous attempts to assassinate him. The death was exactly what Israel had been hoping for when it launched the bombing campaign. Now, intelligence was well aware of the movements following years of hacking and surveillance of the Lebanese terror group, which is one of the largest and best armed militias in the world. Look at this photo. This is what I was talking about. It's just dirt. Folks, that's a bunker buster right there, okay? That puts the bunker in the buster, and the buster in the bunker. You're not that late, Meredith. We've been just streaming for like 15 minutes. You're not that late, and our camera's broken. So, but you guys know what I look like. You know my facial reactions. You know what's going on. You've been here long enough. If you're a new supporter here, if you're new, sorry. It's all right. Not much to look at anyways. Here we go. Now, look at it. Military intelligence. I'm trying to find the piece where they were tracking through like cell phones and like their car meters. Is it this one? It's not that one. Hold on a second. It's somewhere in here. Folks, they were using, here we go. It's right here. I knew it was somewhere in here. So the new data allowed Israel to compile extensive profiles on Hezbollah's operatives, including top chiefs who would attend the funeral of the slain fighters. Blah, blah, blah. Israel's spies tracked Hezbollah leaders' movements by hacking their surveillance cameras in Lebanon and even reading the car's odometers. As a result, Israel learned that whenever the routines of terror group deviated, an attack was imminent. The very thing occurred on Friday as Israel bombarded Beirut. Isn't that crazy, you guys? Folks, they were using, there's another article that was talking about they were using, like, they track them in real time in the tunnel. And they were using cell phone footage while tracking them. This is insane. So they knew exactly the spot where this dude was at, hence like the dirt, the mound, and the deep hole. But it's astonishing how they were tracking this guy in real time through technology and spies to blow him up. So that took place. That's a big hole. Look at this hole, folks. Oh my God. Last time I saw a hole that big, it was Kamala's mouth. Jesus. Well, we have this coming from Donald Trump Jr.
Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terror, is literally colluding with the Biden-Harris administration to try to give them information against their political enemies. Think about that. I mean, I can't tell if it's terrible or if it's perhaps the greatest endorsement of my father's campaign. Iran does not want him to be president. Russia does not want him to be president. Our enemies do not want my father to be president because they understand that bringing back strength and resolve to America is really bad for their global ambitions. I mean, I can't think of a better endorsement, Mary.
He's not wrong. Oh, he is not wrong. It's weird that why is Iran that's supporting terrorism all for Kamala or wanting to keep Kamala somewhat in office? I mean, I understand she's vice president, but somewhat in office. It's a little weird. It's a little awkward. It's a little strange to me that you have a terrorist or the leading sponsor of terror. It could maybe have something to do with all the money. All the money Joe Biden's sending to Ukraine, sending to freaking the Iranians, not doing anything when they attack us. Unbelievable. Well, we got our camera working for a short time, folks. We'll see if it stays back up, but it probably won't. It's probably going to turn off in the next 20 seconds. Biden admin uses taxpayer-funded email blast to praise Kamala ahead of the election. Oh, so he uses this, but he doesn't use it when he's sitting there dropping out. He just writes like a handwritten letter. Handwritten. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, well, no more. I told you it's going to go out like 20 seconds. The email from the Department of Health and Human Services went to everyone signed up to receive updates on the government's Medicare program, which is used by 66 million people. It featured a letter from President Joe Biden highlighting the administration's historic reforms to the program, attributing the benefits to the work of Harris. Is it even legal to do that? Can you use this service for political reasons? Because there's no way in hell this guy was like, oh, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Upsy. This guy doesn't know the difference between his ass and his mouth. There's no way. This guy gets lost walking around the White House. You know what I mean? There's no way. Like, oh, there's Joey again. Oh, whoops. He just blasted everybody with all this information. He doesn't know how to work a computer. You know what I mean? Come on. Biden's letter touts the administration's lowering healthcare costs for seniors. Oh, wow. What about everybody else? And saving money for American taxpayers. Maybe he did write it because it's just a bunch of lies. For example, he says it's thanks all to Harris. Fucking Jesus. There's no way. No way. Noting that she can cast the tie-breaking vote, or that she did cast a tie-breaking vote to give Americans the supposed benefits that Biden and Harris believe healthcare should be a right, a common Democrat talking point on the campaign trail. Rights are usually given by, in my belief, a greater being known as our Lord and Savior. Okay? Last time I checked, healthcare wasn't involved in that. I think people should get care, and they should get health, and have good health. But, well, so they blasted this out. It says, here we go. Using government resources for campaigning is generally prohibited under the FEC. But don't worry, it's okay, you guys, because Democrats did it. No, it's fine. It's only okay. It's only okay when they do it. It's wrong when we do it. Several recipients flagged the email for the Daily Wire after they received it on Friday, noting that it was inappropriate. Oh, well, nobody cares. I mean, I care. It's frustrating, but nothing happens. It is nothing but a campaign ad for the Biden administration. Correct. And it was a free one to 66 million people. The White House did not respond to a request of comment. Of course they didn't. Biden emphasizes in the email that Medicare improvements, is that a camera? Should we get that camera? Are due to his Inflation Reduction Act. Remember how he came out and was like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, we shouldn't actually have called it that because it's not what it did. Inflation Reduction Act. Inflation was like a 40-year high, my ass. These historic reforms are a result of the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law and that Vice President Kamala cast the tie-breaking vote. Okay, sure.
But look,
John Kerry was back in the news. I'm just tired of talking about Joe Biden breaking the law and nothing being done. No big deals there. Or having something prohibited. No big deals. Thanks again, folks, for sticking around. If you're just joining us, again, the camera is shoddy. It's not working. But hey, you know what? It's almost like radio. John Kerry calls for the First Amendment a major block to stop disinformation. Folks, there was a post by not just Joe Rogan, but also Elon Musk talking about how if Kamala Harris gets put in office, she is going to sit there and be messing with your First Amendment rights. This is crazy. You have a right to disinformation. You have a right to put out misinformation. I don't think you should, right? I don't think that's a good thing to do, but that's your right to do it. In the same way, you have a right to practice whatever religion you want. My hope as a Christian, you would support Christianity and follow that faith, but you have a right to do something else. You know what I mean? Oh, Krager. Thank you so much, man. Krager with the $5 camera fund with a smiley face. I mean, it turns on for 20 seconds. I guess supposedly, allegedly it's working. Guys, I don't know what's, I tried fixing it. I don't know. So cameras are expensive, guys. Like, I looked at it because I was like, you know what? You know, when you cuss under your breath, guys know this. When you're working on the car, right? Or you're working under the sink to fix the plumbing or something, it's just not going your way and you spent hours fixing it and you don't know what the hell's wrong with it. That's how I was yesterday. Didn't have a clue, have no clue, not sure what the hell is going on with it. So we'll try to work on it more when I get home from work later today. So let's read this. It says, Kerry called the First Amendment a major block. Oh, God. To combating misinformation and fighting climate change. What the hell? Wait, what? Hold on a second. Is he correlating the First Amendment to fighting climate? Hold on a second. John Kerry called the First Amendment a major block to combating misinformation and fighting climate change. The former Secretary of State took part in the World Economic Forum panel on green energy. Oh, okay. Near the end of the panel, a member of the audience asked, what can be done to push back against disinformation surrounding climate change online? My question is, why don't they go back to global warming? Why don't they want to call it that anymore? You know what I mean? What happened to that? You know, there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have some accountability of facts. But look, if people only go to one source and the source they go to is sick and, you know, has an agenda and they are putting out disinformation, you mean like some of the green energy people, right? You mean like AOC, who like 5 years ago said we're going to be dead in 7 years, but yet we only have like a year and a half to live now. What about all those people that continue since the 70s said, oh, we got 20 years to live, we got 5 years to live, and then they delete their tweets and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Our First Amendment stands as a major block to be able to just, you know, hammer it out of existence. It's scary to me when you start seeing politicians freely, and I've said this so many times, freely just sit there and want to chisel away at your rights. You know what I mean? They do this with the Second Amendment. When they say, we want to sit there and do gun buyback programs like Kamala Harris wanted to do and voted for in San Francisco, by the way, but yet she owns a firearm and doesn't want to remove your firearms. Yeah, nobody ever wants to talk about that. It was in part of the White House press briefing like a week ago where Wonder Woman, Jackie Heinrich of Fox News, questioned Karine Jean-Pierre by saying, hey, well, she wanted to do a gun confiscation buyback program in San Francisco when she was the DA. but all of a sudden she's for guns now. Like, how does that one work out? Kamala Harris flops more than a fish out of water, I'll tell you that. And it's scary that they sit there and say all these things because it's like we're living in George Orwell's 1984 or the beginnings of it. Or like Dostoevsky's Punishment and Crime or Crime and Punishment or whatever that book was called. It's very similar. Where at some point, we're not going to have any rights because they chiseled it away so much. It's freaky deaky. By the way, speaking of freaky deaky, we have a new video up at Spooky Adventures, folks, if you want to check that out. Links in the description. We're going to be back doing that. Well, moving away from these nut jobs trying to take away our rights, Tom Cotton, America needs to adjust to the future of warfare. Now, I thought the headline was interesting, and I figured, we'll go through this with the Patriots to see what's going on. So Tom Cotton said this week that the U.S. needs to learn from global conflicts that have erupted in recent years to make needed adjustments on the battlefield to be ready for the future of warfare. Now, I do agree with this to some extent because the Democrats, remember, they want to sit there and make all military vehicles electric. Yes, you heard that correctly. They want to make all military vehicles electric. Now, gee, if you're the enemy, you're like salivating at the mouth because all you need to do is just display an EMP bomb over the battlefield, and you just rendered every single vehicle dunzo, unoperable. Cotton made the remarks during Hudson Institute panel discussion with these people here. So specifically in the context, what Israel's done in the last 2 weeks, they've made a lot of news, but tell me what you think about how Israel has been able to innovate and change the future of war over the past year since October 7th. Cotton said that both Israel and Ukraine have been able to make rapid adjustments on the battlefield because they do not have to deal with the most complicated bureaucracy in the world, the U.S. government of defense. Well, no, they're just sending them money and weapons and stuff like that on taxpayer. You know, can you imagine where countries would be at if they didn't use our money? It's astonishing, right? And then everybody talks shit to our faces of, oh, look at you, you colonists, right? Mostly it's of the left, but also the left of these countries. Yeah, I did fall out of my chair. Oh, so Pat, you did watch that. I thought I saw your comment on there. Yeah, I did fall out of my chair. I hurt myself pretty bad, actually. That was a real fall. I used to have, what you guys don't know, I used to have a beanbag chair next to me to the left. And so I used to use it as support because I get so scared. I can't go to the right because I'll run into the wall. And if I go to my left, there's an open area here. So I had a beanbag chair sitting there. And, well, I'd fall into that. There's no beanbag chair there anymore. So I ate crap. There's a bunch of wires and cords down here. I hurt myself. But check it out. It's a lot of fun. Those are real jump scares, you guys. There is no foozery, fakery going on. Cotton said that both Israel and Ukraine have been able to make rapid adjustments on the battlefield. Well, on our money. It's all our money. Jesus, look at this guy. Talking about jump scares. Look at this thing. Folks, don't let your kids look at the TV screen. What is that? You don't need to be sorry. It's all good. Our government hates the Constitution. I don't know about our government, but definitely some people in it. The deep state. I hate saying the deep state too. Again, folks, I do see your comments in the live chat. Greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It does support us greatly, you guys. Really, hitting that like button. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a dime. And I appreciate. Look at that. How many? Dude, we have over 100 people watching us with no camera on. That's the Bald Brad Army, baby. That's the Bald Brad Army. I love it. Well, moving forward here. Look at this guy. I got to get my camera because tomorrow's the freaking debate. Oh, we can't do the debate without a camera. Oh, man. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out, you guys. Well, Kamala polls badly with men, and Morning Joe has a solution. Now, remember, Morning Joe, you guys, this is the same guy that said Donald Trump, if elected, is going to start executing people in the streets. I'm pretty sure it's either an exact quote or extremely close to it. I got a clip here for you.
So they still believe they can and will win Pennsylvania, but, you know, they feel good about Michigan. They feel good about Wisconsin, relatively good. You know, it may be a landslide. Maybe they'll win by a full percentage point in both of those states. But in Pennsylvania, they know it's going to be a fight, and it's going to be a fight because she's doing better, much better among women and most young voters, but older white men, just like people thought after Biden left the race, more of a challenge, pulling them to vote against Trump again.
Yeah, I mean, older white men and actually to younger white men too, also a bit of a challenge. I mean, that number they'll like a lot, up +5 in Pennsylvania, because you're right, it's the new Ohio, it's the new Florida, it's the state where they see they have the most problems. And of course, then either the concern or the upside, depending on how you look at this from the Harris campaign's point of view, is that Pennsylvania, Michigan and Wisconsin people think will break the same way. That's what they've done traditionally ever since 1980. I think there's one exception. And so if they lose Pennsylvania, what would that then mean for Wisconsin and Michigan? If they win Wisconsin and Michigan, does that mean they're going to win Pennsylvania? But that's why they're putting so much resources into that. But it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men, and they are doing all they can. You can see, I think the debate next week will be really interesting to see how Tim Walz reaches out to that group. Doug Emhoff, who I interviewed yesterday, I think we've got a clip of that we can have later on the program. He is making a concerted effort in his own way to reach out to that group. They know that that's where they know that's where they have a weakness.
I keep wanting to flip to my main screen, but there's nothing there other than a frozen image. So Kamala's struggling with young men. Do we see through the BS? We see it. Well, speaking of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and the Democrat Party's agenda, I thought I'd throw this all at you. We used to cover this a lot, and it goes in conjunction with just the weird stuff that the Democrat Party's doing. You have an elementary school librarian here, encourages students to read books about gender ideology, which are displayed in the front of the library. Now, if you get Democrats in office again, folks, it's just going to continue. It really is. I understand this is more of a locality and not a federalized thing, but the Democrat Party, specifically the Biden-Harris administration, have come out and supported trans surgeries on little kids, indoctrinating them, giving them books on how to masturbate, using puberty blockers, butt plugs, all that stuff. I mean, it's crazy what they're doing in the education system. So books include topics about toddlers becoming trans or non-binary, kids cross-dressing, and women with double mastectomies. It's crazy. Holy Lordy.
I want to talk about Freedom to Read Week, which is this week. I know it's late in the week, but this week is Freedom to Read Week. And what Freedom to Read Week means is that everyone should get to choose to read what they want to read. Just like you might have different favorite foods, different people have different books they like. And it's important not to tell other people what they can and can't read. Sometimes grown-ups don't want certain books in libraries or schools because they think the books might be too scary, or they disagree with them, or the books don't match their beliefs. And it's okay for people to have different opinions, but it's also important for everyone to make their own choice about what's best for them. Books are like windows into new worlds and ideas. Even if we don't agree with everything in them, they help us think and understand the world together. So today, for our 1-minute book talk, I have some books for Freedom to Read book that people have asked to be removed because they didn't agree with them. We have them in the library because, as I said, everyone has different favorites, and you have the freedom to choose whether to read a book or not read a book. These books will be on the cheese table today, but they'll also be on the cheese table Monday for you to continue to explore. We have books like Black is a Rainbow Color, When Aiden Becomes a Brother, Jack, Not Jackie, My Shadow is Purple, Red, A Crayon Story, Julian is a Mermaid, Fred Gets Dressed, Molly's Tuxedo, that's a picture day one, Pink is for Boys, Bodies Are Cool, many of us read this when it was on the Monarch, Jacob's New Dress, and Prince and Knight.
I don't know if Secret Agent is listening to this, but does this not sound like Jeremy? Like, if you close your eyes, does she not sound like Adam Ray's character, Jeremy? What's up?
All of these fabulous books are in our library on the cheese table. Remember, you have the right to choose whether to pick up that book or not. I hope you'll come down and explore some great books in our library.
Yo. Oh, it's happening, folks. Oh, it's happening. Yes, creepy. Now, it's weird because if you ask this same person, hey, do you think children should be able to buy cigarettes? They're going to say no. But why should they not have the freedom to walk in a liquor store and buy whatever they want? Weird. Why can't you walk into a liquor store or a grocery store and be able just to buy whatever you want? Because you get to walk in a library and just get to read whatever you want. Weird. Hey, should they be able to buy alcohol? No. Well, why not? They should be able to walk into any store, liquor store, smoke shop, and just buy whatever they want. Why all of a sudden, if they could sit there and have the brain power and functionality to make meaning about trans, non-binary, cross-dressing, double mastectomy, scars, but not know how to add or subtract, why would they? Why should they not? Weird. Hey, should they be able to walk into a gun store and be able to buy guns? No. Why not? Weird. Weird how all of a sudden they don't have any freedoms anymore. Unbelievable. Now, obviously, I'm being facetious. I'm being sarcastic, a smartass. It's the same thing here. Now, if you didn't notice, this is a hell of a segue. We went from talking about transing your kids, right? All this stuff about you flip-flopping, hormone enhancers, puberty blockers, all this stuff, right? To talking about Kamala Harris's husband. And the perception of masculinity. That is a transition right there that's noteworthy of a like. He's going to lecture us on masculinity and how he's reshaped it. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You know what? Speaking of segues, can we get Joe one of those? Maybe he won't have to sit there and worry about falling all the time. Just a little buzzing around. You know what? Instead of starting a camera fund, let's start Joe Biden's Segway fund.
Important part, an interesting part of how people.
Sorry, I just blew your eardrums out. That's my bad.
People have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
Oh, the hardball questions. And then look at the... I can't even get it out. Look at the bottom part of the screen. Doug on reshaping the perception of masculinity. Oh, shit.
It's funny. I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And to me, it's the
important part.
Oh, God. I'm crying. It's too good. Oh, boy. I had to wet my whistle, man. I'm getting a little dehydrated from laughing. Now, there is this taking place, I believe, today or tomorrow, and I wanted to make sure that we update the Patriots because this impacts you guys. We're not all on the West Coast here. Everything you need to know about the potential. Yeah, I can't even sound like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. The potential dock workers strike. I have not read this, so I'm really interested in it. About 45,000 dock workers, as of right now, will walk off the job on Tuesday. So maybe you want to go get that toilet paper and maybe some canned food today if you're on the East Coast. If they do, Americans could experience supply chain disruptions through Election Day and well into the holiday season. Uh-oh, Johnny's not getting that board game. The Daily Wire has been covering the coming strike from the details of the contract dispute and how it could disrupt supply chains. It is kind of astonishing how 45,000 people can just completely impact like 350 million. Isn't that crazy? That's why a part of me is not for public sector unions because they tend to go against the interest of the public. Hence right here. I understand they want more work and stuff. We'll kind of hash this out. I'm just saying in general, like the teachers union, for example, I'm not a part of the teachers union. They go against the public interest. Here's everything you need to know before the strike begins. Let's look at this. Why dock workers strike could impact you. explores the significance of strikes, illuminating key moments. The strike comes after months of contentious negotiations. A strike could impact everything from coffee to... Not coffee! I just got hit hard. Folks, we drink coffee here. We're a morning show. It keeps us going. Oh, no. The National Tree Company. You guys can't get Christmas trees anymore, which sells artificial ones. I guess you could just cut down the neighbor that has the Kamala Harris sign out front, just cut down her tree. And, she doesn't need it, right? Global warming. You're polluting. The dock workers union has given $8 million to Democrats. Oh, I bet it has. Has donated more than $1.6 million to Democrats on Harold Dockett's watch, and more than $8 million to Democrats in total. Federal prosecutors in 2004 alleged a mob conspiracy to elect Daggett head of the union, and the leader is still suspected in a separate but related racketeering case. Wow. That also involves the mob. What the hell? What is it with Democrats always heading these unions? You notice that? Like the teachers union, the most powerful union probably in the country, is headed by Democrats, like all progressive lefties. Biden may let the strike happen to hurt Kamala. Now, could this be the October surprise? Could this be the last middle finger that Joe Biden gets off before he gets put in the ground? Because he's not that assassination attempt. I don't want anybody to misquote me on that. It's just, he's leading towards, where he's leading towards. Poor guy. Could this be his last hurrah? Some say his inaction to retribution for Harris's role is ousting him for the presidential ticket. I'm still not completely sold that he actually pulled himself out. You know what I mean? With that letter. That looked like Nancy's signature. Nancy, as she's freaking sipping her vodka martini. Oh, that was it. Okay, I thought there was gonna be more to this. So I guess you're just losing coffee and Christmas trees. Never mind, folks. But seriously, prepare slightly just in case something does happen. All jokes aside, it could be very serious. It could get worse. I'm hearing rumors that it could actually wrap through Texas and go through, even the Long Beach, where one of the bigger ports is. So we'll see what kind of takes place there. I don't even know what I have queued up next. Kamala plays border hawk in first border visit. Now, we covered this over the weekend. I'm still like flabbergasted at the whole thing that we watched with Fox News. We have a clip up from yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, folks, we have a clip talk about 13,000 murderers in the country that Kamala Harris allowed in. So beginning her Arizona speech, Harris presented herself as tough. Oh, tough on immigration. How are you tough on immigration when you're not the borders are? And you've only made the problem worse. The United States is a sovereign nation. I love how she just says the obvious. United States is a states that are united. And I believe we have a duty to set rules at our border and to enforce them. No shit. That is your job. This here. That word right there, Kamala, that I have highlighted, you dummy. Yeah, that's called the executive branch, which you and your boss, Joe Biden, don't want to do. And I take that responsibility very seriously. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. No way in hell. Oh, it's good. Yes. Who spit out their coffee? Holy shit. Oh shit. She said it. Oh boy. Oh, don't worry. I have some clips after here for you guys because she's serious. She went down there for 20 minutes. She's serious. Oh god. We're a nation of immigrants. Oh, no shit. Okay. All right. We don't need to rehash this. It's just unbelievable. That says everything you need to know there. That was the breadcrumb we were waiting for. That was the golden gem we needed right there. So we have this clip here. Her surrogates are coming out talking about how she's really putting in the work, you guys. She's making a difference there at the southern border, just everything else.
Obviously, immigration is going to be a topic of discussion, and it's an important one, and it's something that's on the mind of American voters, which is why Vice President Harris visited the border yesterday. And I think the point that she is making is that look at what is happening. Somebody is actually putting in the work, and somebody is talking about it and continuing to stand in the way of progress. Vice President Harris supports.
Wait, we're going back.
somebody is talking about it and continuing to stand in the way of progress. Vice President Harris supported a bipartisan bill that would have been the strongest and toughest on border and immigration in American history. Donald Trump opposed that bill and told Republicans to blow it up.
Because it's a waste of our money, and it actually doesn't solve the problem whatsoever. Like, whatsoever. But they want to sit there and just waste your money. You shouldn't be wasting your money. You should be spending it wisely, and that's why it's National Preparedness Month, folks. We just got done talking about how the shipments might be delayed. You got freaking foreign wars happening left and right. So for Patriots, we want to celebrate by bringing back the unbelievable buy one, get one on solar generators for a limited time. When you buy the powerful Patriot Power Generator 2000X, you'll get a mini generator for free. Plus, you'll also score 2 solar panels for free, folks. That's right, not one, but 2 solar panels come with the incredible buy one, get one deal on solar generators. So claim your power independence and get free mini generator and free solar panels by going to 4patriots.com. That's 4patriots.com, folks. Hurry, though. You only have until midnight on September 30th to claim your free mini generator. Go to 4patriots.com today, folks. We talked a lot about this. Make sure you buy those up, guys. You're getting a lot of free stuff, and you never know. With Kamala Harris coming in office potentially in the next 3 months, 4 months, 5, hopefully never, it could be a little bit rough. So make sure you and your family are safe by getting that generator. So that's what this knucklehead had to say. And let's see what actually happened at the border. Let's see what really took place. This one's going to make you guys a little PO'd, meaning pissed off.
Look, I stood with President Trump when he actually went to the border, to areas that is, notorious for drug smuggling and human smuggling. He stood there. He spoke to the agents. He's been speaking to the boots on the ground for over 8 years. He's spoken to them, asking what's going on. He's gone through the National Border Patrol Council numerous times. He stood there for over an hour in over 100-degree heat with victims of families from illegal aliens, and he spoke to reporters.
From ICE today.
Vice President Harris went down there and she spoke to 2 members of management. She didn't speak to agents. She spoke to 2 members of management. And I'm going to tell you, I bet money that even those 2 members, I feel bad for them because I guarantee you they didn't even want to be there. But she spoke to these 2 members of management and she was there for 20 minutes for a photo op. That's all she did. President Trump actually cares, and he's actually gone down there and met with boots on the ground, and he's done it multiple times for long times every single time he's been there. This
guy's riled up. He can't even talk coherently because he's so pissed. We've all been there. Yeah, look, if you watch yesterday's episode, I said the same thing, or Saturday's, one or the other, about these 2 guys that totally got screwed by having to meet with this lady. Notice there's no other Border Patrol agents around. Nobody wants anything to do with her. These guys are probably being reprimanded. They probably did something they shouldn't have. And so they got stuck with this abroad. That was down there for 20 minutes. How bad is it? I'm going to fix the problem. She's not going to do anything. And she hasn't done anything. And she's going to continue to not do anything because it's the long game. But don't worry, you guys. She's going to solve everything by making sure she's strong on immigration. Well, here's 50 seconds of her saying, this.
It is wrong to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. I know what a crime looks like.
This person has a law degree, folks. This person has a law degree.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. It is wrong.
There you go. Yep. Krager just said it perfectly. Breaking the law doesn't make you a criminal. News to me. Yeah, I mean, you should come to California. There's a lot of people. Maybe Krager is in California. There's a lot of people breaking the law and nothing happens to them. And that's just the way Democrats want things done. And that's why everything Democrats touch just goes to waste. It goes down the pooper. Here's what I was talking about earlier, where Joe Rogan warns that Kamala Harris will attack the First Amendment if elected. And he's right here, you guys. The reason why I say that is because, remember, I always bring up the one that is always top of mind, the Ministry of Truth that the Democrats wanted to put forward to sit there and tell you what is classified as misinformation and disinformation. and whatever they classify as being true, well, that's just what goes. That is some scary rhetoric coming from the government, let me tell you. The fact, I've always said this, the fact that we have presidents, right, congressmen and women that take an oath to uphold the Constitution, always sit there and, or recently have always sat there and wanted to chisel away at your rights because they're power-hungry people. Rogan made the remarks that we just listed on his most recent show talking to U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan. I'm about halfway through that episode. It's a really good episode if you haven't checked it out. I don't think it turns around if Kamala Harris gets into office. I think they clamp down more. I think the same stuff that they were trying to do with Twitter, they'll try to do something else. And with other things, they've already openly discussed it. And I wonder if Elon knows this. And I imagine he does because he's not an idiot. The guy's a genius, right? But I mean, they're going to go after that guy hard. And I think there already is. I remember stumbling across some articles about 2 or 3 weeks ago talking about how the Biden-Harris administration want to go after him. They don't even like this guy. Remember, they wouldn't even invite this guy when they were talking about electric vehicles. I mean, he's like the #1 electric guy, and they didn't even invite him. They're throwing shade at the guy constantly. So can you imagine where we'd be at without Twitter? Can you imagine how much shit would be suppressed? Man, it'd be a totally different ball game, you guys. Totally different ball game. You know, she's openly discussed that that the same rules have to apply to Facebook. They have to apply to Twitter, and that Elon could lose his privileges. There you go. There you go. I knew I read something about that. There are so many wild things that they're saying. Tim Walz said the First Amendment doesn't apply to misinformation or hate speech. That's also insane. We actually listened to that quote live here on the Bald Brad Show. Not to mention we talked about it earlier. He noted that the First Amendment is about protecting speech, even speech that is factually wrong, and that he was alarmed by how government officials used the COVID-19 pandemic to censor people who spoke out against the government's tyrannical abuse of power. It's only going to get worse, folks. It is only going to get worse. We'll end off with this one where CBS polls upends Democrats' insistence that Trump is a danger to democracy. There's a poll here. In the poll of 1,441 registered Georgia voters taken after the Trump-Harris presidential debate, respondents were asked, if Harris wins, do you think her policies would make U.S. democracy stronger or weaker? 42% said stronger, while 45% thought it would make it weaker. It's a stop. Who the hell is this 42%? These people are living under a rock, let me tell you. I get like 20% maybe because there's always going to be people that don't have a clue. But really, 42% think that she's going to make the U.S. democracy stronger, all the while she wants to sit there and confiscate your firearms. She wants to chisel away your First Amendment right. She wants to sit there and give your hard-earned money to foreign countries rather than take care of people in Georgia or whoever else around the country. If Trump wins, do you think his policies in a second term would make U.S. democracy stronger or weaker? In response, 45% said that it will make the U.S. stronger compared to 42%. Also, a poll among likely voters, including leaning toward Harris or Trump, in the 2024 presidential election held today between Harris and Trump, 51% would vote for Trump compared to 49%. So it's between the two, but it's also contingent on how they actually ran this study. You never know. There could be some bias, and most likely there is bias that seeped in because it's just an observational study. Very hard to sit there and remove any sort of bias from that. But folks, thank you so much for sticking around today for the Bald Brad Show, even though we're having technical difficulties. We'll see if we can get that fixed. Guys, really, I worked on it all Saturday and Sunday. I don't think it's going to be fixed. I probably just have to get a new camera. Maybe we'll find something cheap that we'll just use, or we'll make it work. So we got to get this thing working by tomorrow night because we have to debate, which we will be live. And I will have a camera working. You bet your booty we will have a camera working. I'll have to duct tape this stuff. I don't know. But we will be live tomorrow. Please join us for the debate. I think it starts at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't quote me on that, but we'll usually be live about 30 minutes before the debate. And I'm hoping J.D. Vance kicks his ass. Kicks his ass. With that being said, folks, thank you again, Patriots. It shows how strong we are. Nobody left the show. We had a lot of people watching, in the hundreds, by the way. With that being said, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. And Patriots, I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show. Take care.